Welcome back to, well, it's the same place, it's the same day, it's the same season here in Llangollen, which is the 5th stage of the day here on the Nicky Grist stages over in Epynt in Wales for the round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. But you will be forgiven for thinking it was a very different day, week, month, season, because not 30 minutes ago we had blue skies and bright sunshine, and here we are with, well, rain that's getting heavier and an interesting, no doubt, afternoon on the stages with the weather as it is. Matthew Hurst and Declan Deer using all of the road and a little bit more there in that Fiesta R5 on their quest for back-to-back wins. They won last time out in Kielder, and they're on for a second place finish at the moment, just 8.2 down on our rally leaders Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn here in the Gold Star overall. 3 podiums to start the season off before they saw their first win of the year last time out. Doesn't mean that their points tally is very healthy. Means that they come here 3rd in the Gold Star, just a point behind Aaron Newby, and just a point behind Newby is Russ Thompson in the B13 Evo. So, all to play for here in Wales. Tech Sport Skoda Fabia R5 is going some today. Aaron Newby currently in 3rd place, but not by very much, you know. It's going to be an interesting afternoon. 21 and a bit miles this afternoon's loop of stages. It's a mirror of the first loop this morning. Clean login, followed by Cricken, followed by Halfway, followed by Monument. About 43 stage miles this year's Nicky Grist stages on iconic stages. And here we have our championship leaders and today's rally leaders as well. Coming in hot in the Mango Go Fiesta Rally 2 and leaving their mark on the scenery here in the 5th stage of the day, on a charge, but on terms with the car behind, Matthew Hurst, Declan Deer, on a big push, and at the moment, so far after 4 stages, matching the pace of that Rally 2, more advanced machinery up ahead. The rain's coming down heavy now as well. Our crews have been sat there, presumably on dry weather tyres, unless they really did have an accurate forecast, because every forecast I saw showed this rain coming in at around 12 o'clock. And given that we're now, what are we, just about 2 o'clock? No, we're not, nearly 1 o'clock, aren't we? Ian Bainbridge and Will Atkins in that Polo R5, hard on the brakes. Oh, scrabbling down on the tarmac to get that car stopped for the hairpin left. Oh, I thought the engine note had stopped, then it hasn't. We're all good. Currently 5th place in the Gold Star in the overall rally standings. 19 seconds behind the B13 Evo, which we will see very shortly, of Russ Thompson and Stephen Link. More crucially, though, for them, 3.5 seconds ahead, which isn't very much, of the equally hard-charging second B13 Evo, this time of Rob Wilson and Richard Crozier, the Ravenel car, which you will see very shortly as well. Russ Thompson, Rob Wilson split by 22.8 seconds. Ian Joel 25 seconds further back from them in the B13 fight at the minute. Alistair Ginley and Craig Thorley there. A couple of years since they've done the event, they were in a different car then. Switching Skoda R5 to Rally 2 Fiesta Power. Seventh place so far, 20 seconds back from Rob Wilson in that Ravenel Evo. Behind Alistair Ginley, Ian Joel, Graham Wood in the MRF tyres. Escort Cosworth. The same car that we gave a model away of as a prize on special stage a few events ago. And don't forget, you could win a glorious Colin McRae Rally themed Super Impreza model by telling us where you're watching from on today's live coverage. So all you got to do, check out the prize on the Special Stage Facebook page. There is the man that we've spoken so much about this season, Russ Thompson, Stephen Link. Russ is in our top 4 for the championship, the overall Gold Star Championship at the moment, coming here to Wales. 2 4ths and 2 5ths overall, leading the B13 charge as far as the point standings are concerned with that, as you might expect. And only 1 point behind Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere in that Fiesta R5. Could we see a B13 car come the end of the season challenging for title glory? We could, we really could. Sean Gardner, I think, was the last, was that? We talked about this before, was that 2012? Last B13 car, there is Rob Wilson. I don't know where he's been rallying, but the back of that Evo is covered in black schmaltz. Pushing hard, he's seeing that blue B13 Evo of Russ Thompson and Stephen Link. 2 cars ahead, but all he's seeing is red. That red mist pushing Rob on. 6th place at the moment, Rob Wilson, after 4 stages. This is the 5th stage of the day. Hello and welcome if you're just joining us. This is Special Stage. I'm Paul Woodford. I'm delighted you can join us, whatever you're doing today. The rain is coming back down. It has settled a bit, and we've got brighter skies heading towards us over that crest that you're watching the cars come into view over as well. So fingers crossed, the 20 to 30 minutes of rain that we were meant to get at 12 we're having now, and it's going to be gone very soon. Here's a car that will have done these stages in the hands of Jari-Matti Latvala. And here it is in the hands of Simon Rogers. James Howe alongside, not registered for BTRDA points. Do like the sound of the anti-lag on these older model Mitsubishis, the Evo 5s and Evo 6s as that car is. Car with some provenance, that one. If you go to BTRDA rallyresults.co.uk, you will, he says confidently, be able to take a look at the latest results. Now, this is interesting. I said before that Elliot Payne and Matthew Hurst were really matched on pace today. They've done that stage in exactly the same time. Still 8.2 seconds splitting our top 2 here at the Nicky Grist Stages Rally. There's Nick Elsmore, Rob Fagg. Flames firing out of the back of that Mitsubishi Evo as it powers through the gears. Good to have Nick back on the stages here in Wales. I see him for the odd event now, but he was a formidable and regular presence here in the BTRDA, wasn't he, in years gone by. So yeah, that's big. Elliot Payne, Matthew Hurst, same time through this 3.5 mile stage of thin login. They go to Cricken now on those identical times. 8.2 seconds splitting them on overall times today so far on that leaderboard. Elliot Payne first, Matthew Hurst second. Aaron Newby now 45 seconds back in third, and probably looking at what he can do to remain in that third spot, as you see Ian Joel and Graham Wood. Yes. Just yes. An Escort Cosworth sideways off the gravel onto the tarmac, onto the undergrowth at the side of the stage, and then firing off up the gears. That YB Cosworth popping and banging and throwing its waste fuel out of the back of the exhaust with the anti-lag. Reminds me of being a kid again. Love that car, but you know that. At the moment, just looking at the positions, Ian Joel's going well in 8th place, just 4 seconds off Alistair Ginley and Craig Thorley in the Rally 2 Fiesta. When you think that there are 30 years in between those two cars, 30-ish years, it's quite remarkable that the pace can be there. But 5 seconds behind Ian Joel, he can't relax, is the Mitsubishi Evo 9 of Peter Bayliss. As you see, 2nd place, Historic Cup driver Ben Friend, Cliff Simmons comes here 4th in the Historic Cup. A 2nd place finish would do that championship campaign no harm at all. At the moment, he's 3 seconds down on our Historic Cup leader, Robert Goff, with Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship coordinator Paul Morris alongside in that red Escort. Nigel Jenkins, Kaz Jenkins still having things their own way at the lead of the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category. Dale Glover, David Smalley still holding on in 2nd place, and it's Chris Greenall after them. But there's Robert Goff and Paul Morris. You can see how hard they're pushing, using all of the road, throwing that Escort at the hairpin onto the tarmac, knowing that what's happening at the other side is forgiving. Now, that crackle is thunder. So we've had tank training on one side of us over the horizon, and cracks of thunder over the other side on the horizon, which means although the rain has stopped, presumably the worst of it is now coming in. We are due a storm. We had one this morning. 4 seasons in, well, they were probably had 3 seasons in one day today. We haven't had snow, have we? It's an interesting weather pattern, let's say that. Local man Jason Pritchard, Phil Clark alongside two-time British Historic Rally Champion, 2016, 2017, 4-time Asphalt Rally Champion. Here in the North Road Garage, sponsored Mark II Escort. Saw Jason walking his dog this morning in the town before the start of the rally. Race suit on, tied down around his waist, with his little lad in tow. It's like listening to stories from the British Grand Prix of British drivers who sleep in their own beds and can go out for a morning run around their own village where they live before they go to the circuit for the Grand Prix. Must be strange climbing out of bed, and especially as the scrutineer was done, I think, at North Road Garage. There was certainly some pictures of cars there last night, so going back to work to scrutineer the car. Spectators do get excited when Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees come past in that flying Kiwi Mark II Escort. And they may well do as well, because at the moment he is in the lead of the Silver Star category, Boyd Kershaw. He and Keegan Rees 4 seconds ahead of the red Escort that we just saw from Robert Goff and Paul Morris. Ben Friend just 3 seconds behind them coming into this stage. We'll obviously update these times when they come through. Andy Davison and Jay Nicol, who's in with Andy instead of Tom Murphy this weekend, in 4th place in the Silver Star at the moment, but a little way back from that battle for the podium positions up ahead. With Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees at the moment managing things out in front after 4 stages. Remember, btrdarallyresults.co.uk is what you need if you want to follow those results as they come in live, which is what I'm doing now. Elliot Payne, Matthew Hurst then matching each other on stage times through this 5th stage of the day, this 3.5 mile blast through log in. It's as close as ever here in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Richard Keane and Dylan Thomas there in their Fiesta R5. Not registered for championship points, but here to do anything but make the numbers up, if we know Richard. The championship story is the one that we're covering today, though, so the narrative and the results that we're focusing on are those of our championship crews. You can follow the overall event results yourself if you wish to do so. Morgan was having a great morning in that Skoda R5, wasn't he? Aid Williams alongside. Where was he there? I remember thinking this morning he was really, after the first stage he was up in 6th or something, wasn't he? No, he's dropped back. How has he dropped? Yeah, he's dropped back down out of the top of the leaderboard, but still, a really strong start for Bob. Simon Rogers currently showing his 9th place through this stage, matching his seeding. It'll be a strong result for him if he could hold on to that. Ian Joel, Graham Wood in a bit of a battle with Alistair Ginley and Craig Thorley, as I mentioned. 3.3 seconds the gap between those two very different Fords from very different generations of rallying. The rain's still trying to come down. It's not as biblical as it was this morning. That's how you make the road wider, isn't it? Lewis Firth and Sean Lapper in their B13 Impreza, just reclaiming some of the scenery here alongside this short section of tarmac. 3 stages to go after this one then, and you can follow the final stage of the day live with Phil Bramhill as well. He's covering specifically the Welsh Championship, but of course all cars live here on Special Stage, so you'll be able to follow your favourite crews from both championships as we watch the 5th stage of the day, the first of this loop in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. More and more competitors choosing to use MRF competition tyres as well. And it's become a brand that we recognise and have come to expect to see in the service area these days, doesn't it? Not least because of that Escort Cosworth of Ian Joel and Graham Wood. Peter Bayliss and Paul Godden there in the B13 Evo. Doesn't sound very healthy, does it? Sounds like he's got a bit of a miss at high revs in that Evo. After 4 stages, Bayliss and Godden were 9th overall, which put them I'm just working it out, put them 4th in B13, coming into this 5th stage of the day. Quite a different challenge. We've had the last couple of rounds, just some really long stages for the crews to really get their teeth stuck into. This one's very much a story of short, sharp sprint stages. Gavin Edwards and Karen Thomason. I'll tell you someone we haven't had through, and we did hear the turbo boost pipe or something come off as he went past us this morning, is Charles Payne. Should have had the second of the Mango Go, Rally 2 Fiestas through by now, shouldn't we? Our 2016 BTRDA Gold Star champions, Charles Payne, to give him his Sunday name, and Carl Williamson not making it back through here for the 5th stage of the day. So plenty of live coverage left for you for your Saturday, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and don't forget, we're live. How could you forget? We're live on every single round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Up next, after a summer break, In September, we'll go to Ludlow for the Woodpecker. Then it's the Track Rod in Yorkshire. Before we finish things off, hopefully in dramatic style, with this title battle going down to the wire. The Cambrian in Llandudno, Martin Edwards, Steve Greenall. Neat and tidy in their B13 Impreza. Now I'm a bit lost. I can't tell whether it's thunder or tank fire I'm hearing. So Russ Thompson, Stephen Link started the day chasing Rob Wilson and Richard Crozier in the battle for the B13 honours here at the Nicky Grist stages, and currently Russ has turned that around over the last couple of stages. 19.8 seconds between the pair now, with that position favouring Russ and Stephen. Jason Pritchard has slotted into 10th place. Which, although not registered for BTRDA points, puts him in the leading two-wheel drive position for the rally. There's Ricky Crone, Ivan Devine. BTRDA rallyresults.co.uk is the link you need if you want to check out the live results and see them come through hot off the press, as it were. No results yet for Cricken stage 6. As soon as they start to come through, I'll update you. Johnson light body, Mark Ammons following the line of the competitors before them, taking a wide exit from the I was going to call it a 90 right. It's not really, it's more of a hairpin around the bales here, and getting the wheels onto the undergrowth on the outside. It's always okay, isn't it, when the ground's firm enough, but there's always a risk with sticking your wheels off the side of a stage. David Tomlin and Keith Ashley keeping things neat and tidy as well in their Fiesta R5. It's amazing how many Fiesta R5s there are out there competing now. It's easy to forget how expensive and specialist they are to run, given the number we see now in national events. The rain coming in heavier now, almost at the rate it was this morning. Oh, that Golf this morning we didn't really get to see driven in anger because it had an issue. But that is very much being driven in anger now, isn't it? And it sounds bonkers, doesn't it? It sounds angry. Very cool looking car of Steve Hollis and Tim Curry, almost having a monumental off coming down the hill though after the jump, getting the car in the undergrowth and struggling yet managing to get it straightened back up and back on the stage. Just as you enter the braking zone as well, you do not want to be manhandling the car back onto the stage when you're trying to get it braked and stopped for a corner. Great driving, good recovery from Steve and Tim in that very unusual looking Volkswagen Golf R, which sounded great. Sustainability then important here in motorsport, and particularly on the Nicky Grist stages. It's something the organisers here at Quinton Motor Club are very passionate about. And last year, I'll check my working out, but last year they offset 28 tonnes. 28 tonnes, let that sink in, of carbon on the rally. Carbon positive motorsport, providing options for businesses, rally organisers, sponsors, competitors, even marshals and spectators to offset their energy consumption as we continue to find ways to keep our sport relevant and to keep our sport sustainable in line with everything else. It costs the drivers who take part in the scheme from 22p per mile to offset their carbon and leave a positive footprint. And indeed, last year trees were planted in the Loch Ness region of Scotland as a direct result of that offsetting activity from the Nicky Grist stages here in Wales. Andy Davison, Jane Nicol then a little way back at the moment in the Silver Star. Fourth overall in the Sunbeam VXR, 20.4 seconds back from Ben Friend and Cliff Simmons up ahead. They've got a fairly decent cushion back to Ernie Graham and Karen Graham in the BMW. Sorry, no, in the Mark 1 Escort. What am I talking about? They're 52.8 seconds back. If you don't already, by the way, make sure, please, that you subscribe to Special Stage on YouTube and you follow Special Stage UK on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We put all kinds of behind-the-scenes content and imagery up from these rallies. We also put other rallies you may not have heard of from around the world. That coverage goes on to the Special Stage Facebook and YouTube channels. Bit of a gap here in the action. Don't forget Phil Bramwell live with the final stage of the day, Monument. And he'll be live at around 10 to 3 o'clock. So just leapfrogging and just overlapping ever so slightly our two bits of coverage, but that gives you plenty of options for following the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship Cruise today on the Nicky Grist stages. If you're just tuning in, do not forget to let us know where you're watching from. If you post that up under the live stream, you'll be in the draw to win that fantastic Colin McRae Rally PlayStation themed Hot Wheels Subaru Impreza WRC, signed by none other than Nicky Grist, who co-drove in that car on these stages nonetheless. Not run exactly like today, but certainly these stages hosted the WRC event for many years. It's what makes them famous, it's what makes them iconic, it's what makes them great. Local man, Geraint Thomas likewise sat alongside him, both Quinton Motor Club members. Doesn't sound particularly healthy, does it, that B13 Subaru? I can hear the R2 Fiesta of Tony Simpson, I think, in the background. The soundtrack to your Saturday sounds very much like mine. The only thing we can't bring you is the smells and the amount of dust in the air. If you're watching from home, enjoying the action, but staying dry, dust-free, and the only thing you're missing is the smells, well, you've got it pretty good, I reckon. The biggest fly I've ever seen in my life just landed on a microphone, and I felt the need to tell you. It was like a blooming pterodactyl. Bit of a gap in proceedings, so time to remind you that if you haven't yet checked out our Seacon UK rally show with highlights from around the world of rallying, particularly in the UK. Episode 5 was out yesterday. You can catch it on Sky and Freeview channel Sporty Stuff, and you can watch it right now in full for free on the Special Stage Facebook page or YouTube channel. The Seacon UK rally show. This month's episode features action from the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship Kielder Forest Rally, from the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship Argyle Rally, and from the Lucas Oil Menai Rally on Anglesey. An action-packed show with plenty of variety. It's out now. It's the Seacon UK Rally Show on Special Stage. But meanwhile, back to the action here in Epynt in Wales. It's the Nicky Grist stages, round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. And this is the 5th stage of the day, the second running of the clean login stage. 3.5 miles. There's Woog and Max Utting popping and banging their way down the gears in that B13, the Subaru. The organisers did a big regroup during service at the midway point just to try and get most crews back together again where there have been hold-ups this morning, leaving big gaps. The event organisers are very adept at running around, changing timings and making changes to alterations to arrangements and schedules and various other things to react to what's going on in the rally and to minimise the impact any delays or incidents will have on the running of the event. Just like a closed road event where the road reopens at a certain time, our organisers only have a certain time when they can use the forestry roads when they can be closed off, and it's all about knowing you've got the space in the schedule to bunch things up a bit if you need to, and having the expertise and the experience of doing that and managing expectations along with it, because it's no mean feat. I have been there and it's tough. So the guys and girls who work hard to put these events on get full appreciation from me, and I'm sure from you as well. It's getting very warm out here now. It's strange weather, very muggy. Colin Minton rocketing into view in his Fiesta R5 now. Bonnie Papa alongside, over from the Isle of Man, continuing her rally adventure. And enjoying it as well. Don't forget to let us know where you're watching from. I'm going to put back onto the stream now, so we'll read out some of your comments. Jessie Meekin Clark has said again she's watching in Western Australia in Margaret River. It'll be late night over there, won't it? But that's at least 2 entries into the competition. Graham Wozencroft is watching the Goff Boys from Napa in California, Napa Valley. Great to see Richard out in the Rothmans car, enjoying our special stage coverage. Des Scanlon's not only telling us where he's watching from, he's given us his actual address. Don't be doing that, that's GDPR. Well, it's probably not if you've written it yourself, is it? Luke Pentney is watching live from Ibiza. Gutted is not here. Oh, I bet you are, Luke. I bet you are. Matt Evans is rooting for the missus. You've just seen her, Bonnie Papa, co-driving for Colin Minton in that Fiesta R5. You'll be watching from the Isle of Man then, Matt. Oh, you said you are. There we go. Neil Roskell watching from the Dordogne in France. Wayne, could we disqualify some of these people from the competition just for being in glorious places in the world and making me very jealous? Yeah, disqualified. Just Westbrook. Oh, you're watching from the service part. You can enter, mate. Rally Vibes watching at halfway. I love the fact that we have crews, marshals and service crews watching with us on events. I also love a G3 Escort being driven very sideways. Who doesn't? Ewan Roberts and Daniel Jones there. All manner of entertainment happening with that Gartrack Escort. Tell you what, my clipboard with my all-important notes on is, it looks like it's been through the wars. It's had rain, it's had mud, it's had dust chucked at it. It's torn from when producer Wayne got his hands on it earlier. Luddite. Neil Roskell's shocked at being disqualified for making us jealous because he's in the Dordogne. Well, unless you're in an industrial state on the Dordogne doing business, Neil, we are jealous. I quite like to be in the Dordogne right now. Dean Wharton watching from Blackpool, also watching the F1. I'm heading over to Silverstone tomorrow. I'm in the rooftop hospitality on top of the Hilton over the Podium. Looking forward to that. I'm entertaining some guests on behalf of my boss, my day job, working at Allen Marine. It'll be the poshest Grand Prix tickets I've ever had, that is for sure. Andrew Fox, Jamie Lee Fox through in their BMW 325. Ben Powell's watching from nowhere exotic, just cloudy Bargoed. Is that how you pronounce that? Bargoed? Everyone's just looking at me blankly. Okay. I love the fact that people are pointing out that they're not watching from anywhere glamorous now, just in case we do disqualify them for being in somewhere glamorous and making us jealous. Newsflash, we're not really going to disqualify you. Craig Golden's watching from Bellingham in Northumberland. Neil Roskell says it's 32 degrees. Poof. It feels like that here right now. Just wet with it. Melanie Capel is supporting her daughter, Bonnie Papa, and Colin Minton, so she'll be in the service part, no doubt. Hello to you, Melanie. Good to have you with us. Richard Axel, Alan Harriman in that Porsche 911. Using it to good effect. It does sound good, doesn't it, that car? Richard Jack watching with us. Hi, Richard. Good to have you with us. Jack Davies is watching from Cumrick in Pembrokeshire. Peter Gordon is loving the golf. Yeah, it was very entertaining, wasn't it? He's watching from Nairobi in Kenya. That's going to cost you a bit in postage. Producer Wayne, if he wins. No rules on where you have to be in the world to be watching our coverage, and there's no rules on where you have to be in the world to win the prize. As you see, Colin Griffiths and Sean Rowlands. Previous winners here have included Elvin Evans, Frederick Arlin. Don't forget, it's been a round of the British Rally Championship sharing the billing, as well as the Welsh and here the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship over the years. Damien Cole, Ewan Thorburn, Paul Bird, Charlie Payne, Elliot Payne hoping to follow in his dad's footsteps. He came second here on the Nicky Grist stages last year. He'll be looking to go one better here today to add to an already impressive season tally so far in the BTRDA. I do love a GC8 Subaru Impreza. That's where it all started, wasn't it? Rob Aslett, Ashley Aslett's example. Sounds really nice and throaty. Got that almost Group A thrum to it. Just check the results that you can do that as well. BTRDA rallyresults.co.uk. Time starting to come through for Cricken in stage 6, but at the moment the big news is that Elliot Payne and Matthew Hurst are matching each other for pace out in the lead of this rally. Elliot Payne, though, at the moment 8.2 seconds ahead of Matthew Hurst. They posted exactly the same time coming through this 5th stage of the day, setting up a thrilling end to this 5th round of the series. Aaron Newby, Jamie Edwards a little way back in 3rd place, but that will be an important position for their championship hopes. Russ Thompson, Stephen Link continuing their impressive form to take 4th at the moment, as you see Diffrick James and Emir Jones sidestepping that clutch and getting that escort tramping down the road. The car's going left around the hairpin, just out of sight, but you can hear them scrabbling under the brakes, and I'm just waiting for the thud as somebody drops it down that bank on the right, on the outside, that we saw, like we saw Tony Simpson do. We're still yet to have Tony Simpson through, actually. Should have had that Fiesta R2 through by now. I'm going to just check the retirements. How good does that Rothmans escort look? Richard Goff, Sam Collis alongside. It looks right, it sounds right. It is right, isn't it? Proper X-Works, Ari Vatanen escort out here, being driven in anger on these iconic Welsh stages where, frankly, it probably rallied on its way to period glory. Fair play to anybody who has an X-Works escort like that and brings it out competing, because these stages take their toll on any car and take a bit of re-prep, so we do appreciate that. So Eddie Lewis, Sean Cunningham, if we saw them drop out of their 3rd position after the 1st stage and they were struggling from there, they are out of the rally now, as you see Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Picker-Vance through the stage. Charles Payne, Patrick Walsh, retired after the 3rd stage. Eddie Lewis was suspension. Neil Andrew, Dominic Adams went off the road on stage 4. Who else were we talking about? Okay, so Tony Simpson, we're pretty sure hasn't been through yet in this 5th stage. And he's not showing on the retirements list, so probably running out of order, unless he has just retired in this rally. Sorry, in this stage of the day. But he's well out of order at the moment if he comes through. Checking on the live trackers. Tony Simpson is car 32. Will Graham and Robin Kellard. Another fantastic looking escort, that, isn't it? It was a wide Monty-arched Mark II in that Ford Motorsport blue and white livery colour scheme, I suppose you call it, for sale recently, wasn't it? Did you see that? Oh, goodness me, that looked fit. Mind you, did you see the Group N Ballroom Escort Cosworth? Works built, 900 miles or something on it. Looked like brand new. Unbelievable. I mean, I'd daily that. I really would. You can't keep it that nice. It'd be rude. Don't know how much money it went for in the end, actually. I meant to follow it at Motorsport Auctions. I'll have to have a look when we get back. Any news on Tony Simpson? So we think Tony Simpson, sponsor of our Seacon UK Rally Show, is out, but we haven't got confirmation either way. You see Tim Phelps and Elwin Manuel in their Mark II Escort. I honestly can't tell if that's thunder we can hear in the distance. I think that might still be tank fire. Just keep thinking that maybe a tank's going to burst through those trees to our right and interrupt proceedings. That'd make for a fairly interesting live stream event, wouldn't it? Never mind that, it looks like we've got a couple of sheep down here looking to go walkies on the stage again. Liam Clark, Tony Edwards in the R2 Fiesta, came here second in the R2 Cup, and I'm just looking down the results. In fact, I'm going to refresh them from the previous stage too. So yeah, Liam Clark leading the R2 class at this stage after 4 stages. Jeff Phelps sorry, I lost my place on the order. I really am multitasking here. 5th place at the moment in B11, sorry. And that green Escort that we saw through. Yeah, Tony Simpson not showing on the results here. Liam Clark then is going to have a very easy day of things today, as long as he can keep it going, isn't he? He's going to get a good haul of points towards that R2 Rally Cup title as we go into the summer break. Obviously you can't tell this from watching the camera, but it has come across extremely muggy and close in the last 10-15 minutes. So we've gone from bright sunshine and blue skies to biblical rain and strong wind to absolutely zero even breeze now. Not breeze, and the air is so thick and close. This weather is really odd. Tell you what, if it's similar weather for the British Grand Prix tomorrow, that will be some spectacle, won't it? Good to have Robert Eltringham with us, watching from Barnoldswick. Owen Pritchard is watching from Worcester, while on his turbo trainer. What's a turbo trainer? Steve Ward there. Phil Sandham, that car sounds strong, doesn't it? Not much of a gap between these two. Oof. Hot over the jump. David Young, Douglas Young alongside. Results just a bit slow to come through from this stage, but sorry, I'm going quiet while I'm searching for results. I was going to say Dale Glover and David Smalley are leading the Bronze Star, but that's results to this point from stage 6. Cricken, the second running of that stage, as well as the others in this loop. And no, we just haven't had Nigel and Kaz Jenkins through yet. That's all. That would have been a turnaround, wouldn't it? We've added some late intrigue into the second half of this rally today. Not quite as many spectators in this second half of the day. The weather probably playing its part there, and perhaps they've moved on to different areas of the stage. But good to have so many with us this morning, and good to generally see people out enjoying their rallying again. Mike Tonkinson, Sean Whitehurst. It's a martini theme going on with that Escort, isn't there? Plenty of entries into this competition to win this Colin McRae Rally PlayStation themed Hot Wheels Subaru, producer Wayne. You're going to have a job on getting this random... It'll take you ages to put them all into the random selector. There'll be plenty more chances to win cool stuff as well this year, so make sure, whether it's the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship or one of the other championships or events that we're covering, make sure you tune in and get involved. Still want to know what a turbo trainer is. Any idea, Wayne? You got a turbo trainer? Does he look like he has? I don't know what it is. What would you look like if you did? Jason Gardner, Kevin Lane. He's guessing it's exercise equipment. Okay. Mark Doody is watching from Clare in Ireland after running a 10k event with his partner. Hey, well done, folks. That's some achievement. Good way to celebrate, though. We do approve watching rallying on special stage after you've done your 10k. Scott Morris is waiting to cheer on the Ludlow Castle Motor Club cruise. Dom Adams is watching with us. Of course, should be out with Neil Andrews, but they are out in the sense that they're out of the rally. That's a hard-charging Fiesta R2 that's going to need to scrub off some speed into the braking zone. It does. Sam Mason, James Seymour alongside these crews, not registered for BTRDA points coming through now, but as we've said already many times, all cars live on special stage live coverage. But we're following the story of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. Dewey Cox is on stage 2, post 7. That counts, doesn't it? Sam Mason's stopped just over the crest. Managed to get the car going by the sounds of it. Yeah, off he goes, just maybe overcooked it into the hairpin there. Mike Simpson and Dale Gibbons just scuffing the bales that have certainly seen better days on the inside of the junction here, turning what should be a 90 right with a fairly tasty cut into a bit of a hairpin affair. Ted Otake is watching from Livonia in Michigan in the USA. It does excite me watching the reach that we have here on special stage. Saudi Arabia, Australia, Bali, where else today? Peru, Wicklow Island, Barry Nolan, hello to you. Rally scene photography, he's unsure which ones he's commented on now. He's watching in Hartlepool is Mark. He's put in brackets Monkey Hanger. Is that your nickname or is that where you live? Where do you live? Monkey Hanger. Is that a place? Great if it is. Bit of Eton Yale for your Saturday afternoon here in Wales. David Pedley, Grace Pedley. Just channeling their inner works Mark II Escort. Drove Eton Yale, was it Penty? Oh, of course, it was Hanu's car, wasn't it? I know, I just got a blank as well. It's not often we have those kind of blanks, Wayne. Normally pretty good in those things. Damien Craig asking what's the next tarmac event we're covering. Oh, do you mean asphalt? Damien, goodness me, if Paul Morris or Donna was reading that, they'd have a duck fit. We're down on Down Rally in a couple of weeks' time, not next weekend, the weekend after, and I'm pleased to say I'm going over for my first trip to Ireland. Looking forward to that one. But right now, we are in the thick of it here at the Nicky Grist Stages Rally. It's round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. And there you have a very retro, it seems strange seeing those as retro cars, doesn't it? Evo 3, Vallon Jones and Geraint Mills. Don't forget, Phil Bramall is going to be live for you through the last stage of the day, which is Monument. all quite a compact route, 43 stage miles, 93 road miles roughly on this year's Nicky Grist stages. Asphalt there, you got it right now. I can answer you now. No, let's call it tarmac. Ian McDougall's watching from the Mach 1 stages. Where's that? Way up in Scotland. There you go. That's almost as far away as Livonia in Michigan, isn't it? Jeff Phelps, Colin Jenkins through the stage in their B11 Escort. Come here 7th in the fight for B11 points. And I'm just trying to look on the results. I was looking for Jeff Phelps a minute ago, actually. Wasn't showing on the results I had from stage 4, but must be there because we've just seen him. If, like me, you want to multitask, go to btrdarallyresults.co.uk and here we go, results to a stage. This is how you do it. All categories. I was on overall. I'll just search through for people. So where was Jeff Phelps then? Okay, we're getting quite a few stages through now. Stage 6 we've got times for, and stage 7 now as well. There we go, Jeff Phelps, 2nd place. Took a while, didn't it? In B11 at the moment, that will be a good set of points if he can continue that. 21 seconds ahead of Liam Griffiths and Daniel James in that Fiesta ST, which was charging through this morning's running of Llyn Login here in Epping. Is this Tony Simpson? No, it's not. So a Fiesta coming over the crest, and we've still not got Tony Simpson accounted for in the R2 Rally Cup, not appearing on the results or on the retirements at the moment. Stephen Woe, Mark Broadbent in their R2 Fiesta, not registered for points this weekend, but going well. Looking like they're having fun throwing that Fiesta R2 around on these pretty famous stages here in Wales. Should have all of our 1400 Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star times through stage 6. No, we don't actually. And yet we've got some times for stage 7, which is very odd, isn't it? Nigel and Kaz Jenkins, mind you, is there a reason that Nigel and Kaz Jenkins are not showing on the results for stage 6? We saw them through here. They were leading emphatically ahead of the field. They came here leading the Bronze Star category point standings. Neil James, Kevin Jones, one of our non-registered B11 cars here on the Nicky Grist stages. If you're just tuning in, welcome to round 5 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. We're some way through now on this 5th stage of the action that we've got for you, and Phil Bramwell will be up next with action from the final stage of the day. The cars will be starting that stage any time now if they haven't already. Is the live stream up? Be very, very soon. But we've still got a bit of action to go yet here on the 5th stage. It's Llyn Login, 3.5 miles. It's a short, sharp sprint to start each loop of the rally off. Still no sign of Tony Simpson, which seems odd. There's Dan Jones with Cyril Jones alongside in their Nova. Just clumping the sump guard on the gravel there on the run off onto the tarmac. There's not much of a step up onto there either, not much of a compression, so they must have been braking pretty hard to dip the car down that much at the front. Let's have a look, see if I can... Still no sign of Tony Simpson, so one has to presume he's stopped somewhere on the road section before this stage. Oh! That was a brave line, followed by a very sideways William Mellard and Kieran Bourne, who actually appear on the retirement list, interestingly. They're very definitely not retired. No brakes on stage 4. William Mellard and Kieran Bourne absolutely throwing that Subaru Impreza around the stage here. Looks good, doesn't it, in its Works-esque livery. Remember to tell us where you're watching from, and we will enter you into the draw to win that fantastic rally-models.co.uk Colin McRae Rally PlayStation themed model. As the original rally game on the PlayStation reaches 25 years old. In the 14th year of Nicky Grist Motorsports, supporting the Nicky Grist stages run by Quinton Motor Club. Nicky's signed the model as well. What an item that is to go in your rally fan collection. Tell us where you're watching from and you go in the draw. It's as simple as that. Alan Dubois and Peter Littlefield there in the B10 Peugeot 306 rear-wheel drive. Still want to know what a turbo trainer is. Owen Pritchard. Wayne Goldring doesn't think it's something he'd have. But we're as yet to ascertain exactly what it is. Antonio Ragnatella is watching from Staffordshire. Pretty sure that's not his name though. Sean Neville's watching from Ross-on-Wye in Herefordshire. Philip Ralph's Tregaron is where he's watching from. As the air starts to cool off and the rain returns. What a strange, I know I keep saying it, and it's not very interesting listening to someone going on about the weather, but blimey is it odd, this weather. Jeff Cottrell, Nathan Crew there in the B13 Evo 9. I think if you're out there competing, you sat there at the start of stages and the weather's changing and doing its thing, it's just a case of going with it at this stage. It's so odd. Got really heavy drops of rain coming down now again. Graham Jordan, another of our Australian fans watching from Brisbane. Hello to you. G'day, mate. Mel Lewis is watching. I like to think that he's sat in his Stratos in the garage watching. Mel Lewis has the total liveried Stratos replica that you may have seen doing the rounds at some of the rally demonstrations. We had him at Cadwell Park a few times. Nick Edwards is watching from Stourbridge. Chris Brownlow is watching from Longridge. Very poetic. Mike Dorr is watching, but it doesn't say where from. Don't miss the trick. Tell us where you're watching from and we'll put you in the draw. Shane O'Mahony watching in the sunny West Cork. That sounds nice. And Jason Morgan is watching from Walters Arena, where the all-wheel drive club will be in action tomorrow. We'll be filming that for the next instalment of the TV show for the AWDC, the All-Wheel Drive Club Safari Championship. I always want to say in association with Parr Homes and Whitchurch MOT Centre. So I'm used to saying that from the coverage. So you'll see Wayne and I think Jamie Ganley, our cameraman, over there at Walters Arena tomorrow. Paul Pav English is watching from Grimsby. I don't know why I said it like that. I love the way those GC8 Subarus kind of jerk between gear changes when they're being driven hard. Charlie Campbell, John Hawkins enjoying themselves out here on the stages today. Next BTRDA competitors up are Will Armitage and Michael Jenkins. And Lanto Beaumont then in their B11 Mark II Escort. Again, another Eton Yale style car. I think that's probably the livery I'd go with if I had a works replica. Is it? I think it is. Tarmac spec. Well, I think we'd go with Belga's satellite works. But yeah, Belga Escort. Nice. Stephen McDermott's watching in Sydney. Tell you what, Steve Gregg must have done some hellish promoting over in Australia. He's gone out there and basically taken the BTRDA with him, hasn't he? And I just imagine him banging his drum and handing flyers out in Australian supermarkets. Alex Callan and Alan Carfrey, who broke a drive shaft on this stage this morning and will be delighted to be back out. They were umming and ahhing about whether or not they'd be able to get it back out and get recovered in time to get back to service, but they did, and there they are, back out in action, and no doubt will be looking after those drive shafts a little more through this first stage of the loop. They'll be looking forward to doing the last three stages of the loop as well, having missed them this morning. Tony Simpson is still a mystery. John Gribbins is watching from Wastebusters headquarters. Callum Griffiths and William Lewis. They've been going well so far. th overall in Silver Star, that Fiesta ST, just 8 seconds back from Tim Phelps. Now in Manuel in their Mark II Escort. That is some performance in a car which really has lost its foothold in the rally class ladder, hasn't it? Because it's a fairly competitive if driven really hard, but it's not one of those cars you can just get in and swoop to a class result in, being a 2-litre and fairly modest powered at that. Obviously they were built for a one-make championship, and they are built well, and they do go well, and they've set up properly and driven properly. We've seen some stonking performances in these Fiesta STs. With the ST trophy pack, that's what we need. There's Liam Griffiths and Daniel James. Now they were going well. Come here second in B10, 39 points behind Lucy Wigley, who we should see from shortly. Liam Griffiths just a couple of places ahead of Callum. 9th place overall in Silver Star. That's a pretty good position to be in a Fiesta ST, isn't it? Coming into this stage, Daniel James alongside. Lucy Wigley's had a shocker so far today in that Citroen C2 R2. We'll see her from her now. Here she comes. Flat chat. Oh no. No, backing off a bit. Probably the story of her day. It looks like it's damage limitation down there at the tail of the field in B10. Lucy and Emma come here as our B10 class championship leaders, and at the moment in the Silver Star they're right down at the bottom. of that leaderboard. "37 seconds behind Michael Jenkins and Jordan Joins in their Fiesta. It's Ben Cree and Robert Wiggins, though, leading the way in B10 at the moment. The battle I was talking about earlier between Liam and Callum Griffiths is for B11. So why is Liam Griffiths not showing in B10 in the results then? Lynn Davies with Aled Richards alongside. Interesting livery on that Mark II. Doesn't have to go well, that thing. Just loves going through the gears, doesn't it? And again, with the rain's gone, we're back to light breeze, which is refreshing, not going to complain about that. And it's muggy again, with dust hanging in the air. Gotta say, I mean, the border counties, we had bright, almost tropical weather in the morning, bright sunshine, wall-to-wall, sunburn weather, and then washed it down with a almighty thunderstorm in the afternoon, and that was just like the water was coming through the umbrellas. It was that heavy. But it was one or the other, and you saw it changing at the middle part of the day, whereas here, it's the most bizarre weather I think I can remember having on a rally. I suppose in many ways, looking at it pragmatically, actually, in terms of changing the conditions for the drivers, there hasn't been enough rain in intensity or length of time to really change the conditions on the stage. It was pretty wet this morning on the top layer, but it dried up pretty quickly, and after that you've had short, sharp bursts of rain. Nothing prolonged and nothing that would make things very difficult. Regardless of what tyres you run out there, you're still going to be running those softer tyres, I think, aren't you? Mel Lewis is actually at the start of stage 6. He's in the interim safety car. Right. Would that be the... Which one's that? Is that the Vauxhall Frontiera? What's the interim safety car? I talk in zeros, Mel. Are you 00 or 000? Paul Bevan's watching in Neath. Nigel Rusco's watching from a Westry. Jordan Cullen Evans is watching from Cumpark in South Wales. You saw Ron Morgan and Sean Jones through there, by the way. Not registered for championship points. We're looking for Martin Beach. Noel Murphy up next in our MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship, as far as the points are concerned. There's Martin Walters and Marie Fletcher. They do go well in this Civic. They need to enter the BTRDA so we can get them in the fight for B10. They'd be B10, wouldn't they, in that Honda Civic? Padraig McGowan is saying we should try Galway in Feb to see bizarre weather. You been to Galway? Wynne says the weather was okay when he was over there. I've never been to Ireland. I'm really looking forward to the Down Rally. First trip over there. Plenty of entries then into our competition today. Don't forget, plenty of live coverage to go as well. Today, after we finish here in the 5th stage of the day, you can switch over to Phil Bramwell on the alternative live stream, which will be following this one on the special stage Facebook page and on YouTube. He'll be live in Monument as the story of today's rally comes to its head. We'll update you on the latest results very shortly. You can see Chris Rankin and Alex Knight through the stage. Let's Let's have a look. Oh, goodness me. I thought we'd had a bit of a shake-up then. I just looked at the results from stage 6, and Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere are showing as being almost 5.5 minutes in the lead. That's what happens if you get too excited and look at the results before they've actually started to shape up. Coming out of this stage then, Elliot Payne, Matthew Hurst are matching each other for pace, as you see Gareth Edwards and Dylan Bargate through the stage. 8.2 seconds splitting those two Fiestas, the Rally 2 Mango Go Fiesta and the R5 of Hurst and Deere in first and second. Aaron Newby, Jamie Edwards come here second in the championship point standings, and at the moment they are third place with quite a lot of work to do if they're going to get any further up that order. Russ Thompson, Stephen Link come here fourth in the standings, and that is where they currently are on the leaderboard for the Nicky Grist stages as well. 6 seconds further back from Aaron Newby. Another stellar performance from Russ and Stephen in that blue Mitsubishi Evo 9. And it's Alistair Ginley, Craig Thorley, strong performance from them. A couple of years since they've been here to the Nicky Grist stages, and they're in a different car then. Rob Wilson, Richard Crozier, Ian Bainbridge, Will Atkins, Bob Morgan, Aid Williams, Gavin Edwards, Karen Tomlinson. Good result from them so far today. And then Ian Joel, Graham Wood in that glorious MRF tyres liveried Escort Cosworth rounding off the top 10 as things stand. Nigel and Kaz Jenkins out in front in the Bronze Star, and Boyd Kershaw out in front in the Silver Star. It's Robert Goff and Paul Morris though holding their own in the Historic Cup in the lead there. Let's see how things go over the next couple of stages. Car's currently in stage 7. Got the first few times as well for stage 7. So the news in from stage 6. Elliot Payne, Tom Woodburn have taken some time. They've taken exactly 3 seconds out of Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere, who are still just hanging in there. Aaron Newby, Jamie Edwards have dropped back a bit more from that fight for the top 2 places, but crucially for them have looked like they've taken enough out of Russ Thompson and Stephen Link, although still waiting for their time to come through in order to cement that 3rd place for now. And there's Bob Morris and Dill John in the Impreza. It is, I was looking for the time to come in earlier, wasn't I? Nigel Jenkins and Kaz Jenkins have brought that Nova through the 6th stage of the day, Cricken after this one. And they now have I've got to do some maths here, a 58-second lead over, I'm pleased to say, the Alpha Sud of Dale Glover and David Smalley, who finally have a bit of reliability so we can see what that Alpha Sud can do with its raspy little 1.5 engine. 1.5 is 1.3, isn't it? In that one. Chris Greenall behind them in 1400S. Dylan Fowler Bishop, Dan Evans still fighting hard, just 3 seconds behind him. And Joe Everett, Richard Wise on the overall leaderboard. Not registered for championship points, but interesting to see that they're on the pace in the 1400S MGs that are just under 5 seconds back from Dylan Fowler Bishop, a man who is on song at the moment and is a real measure of the current pace in the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category, so a good benchmark for Joe coming back to the series and seeing where he fits in. Dale Glover, David Smalley in that Alpha Sud, indeed the latest car through the finish to put a result on the board for stage 7. As the first of our crews make their way to the final stage of the day, where you will be able to find Phil Bramall as you see Peter Jones and Gareth Davies through this 5th stage of the day. Flynn Loggin. Don't forget, you can watch all of the live coverage back, flick through to the bits you want to see later in the day. When we're done, you can also watch highlights of this, the 5th round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship, the Nicky Grist stages, in a few weeks' time. The first Friday in August. Blimey, you believe we'll be in August the next time we do a Seacon UK rally show, which will be available on Sky and Freeview Channel Sporty Stuff, as well as across Special Stage social media. A shortened highlights review of the rally, as well as a review of the down rally. What else will we have in that show? Maybe have the behind the scenes. Maybe have the behind the scenes feature from the Kielder Forest rally. So a bit of an extended highlights package on those two rallies, plus that behind the scenes feature to show you what goes on behind the scenes here at Special Stage and what goes in technology, equipment, work, effort, preparation wise, what goes into filming rally TV. There's Martin Beach and Noel Murphy in their Peugeot 205 GTI. Just don't see enough of those out competing anymore. It's mad. And you don't see them really at car shows either, and there must be quite a few of them around because they don't really rust compared to some classic cars. Having had two, I can tell you that. I mean, they do rust, but not drastically. You know, you can't hear them fizzing in the wet, for example. So I just wonder where they've all gone. It's just be sat in people's. I know you see a fair few on single venue rallies, but still not that many to suggest that they've all gone there. With Robert Wiggins alongside. Just looking at Martin Beach at the moment, he's in 11th place in class in B11. Chris Rankin and Alex Knight in the BMW 318, the nearest competitors as far as the event is concerned, but as far as the championship is concerned, the nearest B11 challenger, I think, is Callum Griffiths and William Lewis, all the way up in 54th on the leaderboard, 9th in that class. So I'm getting lost in the results now. I start to do this, we get to this point in the rally, I start finding all sorts of new oddities and stories and battles. I'm sure you don't mind. Simon Smith, Andrew Lawson, 4th in the B12 battle at the moment, and let's have a look. Third at the moment today on the leaderboard in B12. 17 seconds behind Tim Phelps and Elwin Manuel. So again, good points, and it's all about that 5 rounds into the season. We've still got 3 stages to go after this one, so let's not count any chickens this early on. But at this point in the season, it is eyes on the championship points. You've got 3 rounds to go, and what you do here very much will help you focus your approach for the last part of the season. Don't forget, we had 5 points separating our top 4 Gold Star competitors. Elliot Payne, Matthew Hurst, Aaron Newby, Russ Thompson. 4 points. Sorry, 5 points, 4 competitors. So, yeah, very much is about championship points at this point in the season. You see Gary Whitney and Carl Keating getting it slightly wrong there. You're looking and listening out for that fantastic 206 Super 1600 firecracker of Damien Thomas and Gavin Haycock, which should be along very shortly. Should have been along by now, actually. I'm just tentatively checking the retirements, hoping it's not on there, because it is the first event out for that beautiful Super 1600 car. We don't have enough Super 1600s and JWRCs, as they were also known, on the FIA classification cars out competing, do we? But Damien Thomas in that grey 206 Super 1600 that went so well this morning is doing his first rally since 2019, when he was in a 206 XSI, pretty much a standard production spec car. And that car that we've seen today ran its first miles on the road back on the 28th of June. So a week or a couple of weeks ago, not even that, a week and a bit ago. And it didn't even have the dash wide in at that point. So I've been following the preparation on Twitter. They've been building that Super 1600 car and getting it ready for this event, and it looked like brand new. It was beautiful. Almost a shame to get it dirty, but not really a shame because it sounds amazing. Trying to listen out, see if I can hear a Super 1600 car. There is a version of me that would, I'm sure, be able to pick that out from the various bits of noise we can hear. Tank battles on the horizon one side, thunder on the other side, rally cars in various bits of today's stages sort of rattling around the hillsides around us. The hills are very much alive with the sound of rally cars. I hope you weren't just pointing there saying that was a Super 1600. That was a very excited face that turned into a no, I wasn't being excited. It was Wayne playing it cool. Who's coming, is he? Oh, you've spoilt it now. You can't use the tracker. That's like when someone tells you the results of the Formula 1 qualifying, which, by the way, no one better do. I'm going to listen to that on the way back in the car. Sorry, on my way back, on my way to Silverstone tonight. So, Damien Thomas is on his way in that Super 1600 Peugeot. There we go. Is that him? Listen to that thing sing. I just went quiet to let you listen to that. What a glorious sound. And you've got to hand it to him. Damien's done a fantastic job of preparing that car, because this is, it's not long stages as such. It's not that grueling, but they're fast stages, and they're soon going to find a problem with a car like that if you haven't quite bolted it together properly or got it set up or quite got something working well on the car. And it only did its first test like 2 days ago on gravel, so I'm unsure if it's a new car built from scratch or if it's one of the old cars rebuilt. Actually, I've not actually looked into it in that depth, and now it's not here. I can't see what reg is on it either. But fantastic. Well done to Damien for getting that car ready and bringing it out to entertainers, and for getting, you know, at this point, 5 stages into the rally. Where was he? Yeah. On the classification there, let's have a look. Oh, it's not going to show on here, is it? Because he's not registered for BTRDA points. Okay, 4th in class. 74th on the overall leaderboard. Not a bad first showing so far, 5 stages in. That's Super 1600 Peugeot. First of our bowler defenders now in the Bowler Defender Challenge coming into view. Let's see if we can get the names and numbers right on the side of the cars this time. They were all in a funny mixed up order earlier on. And they are now as well. Miles Williams, Andy Dennis. Listen to them in fighter jet mode. I love the way they sound. Have we got times through from stage 6 for stage 6? No, stage 7. Come on, Woodford, get with it. Let's have a look. Stage 5. I'm going to talk you through it while we go through the results. Yep, Nigel and Kaz Jenkins have posted their time through stage 7, the halfway stage, as they now head to Monument, where you'll be able to catch Phil Bramwell and all of the action through that final stage of the day. And they have pulled out a bit more time on Dale Glover and David Smalley, who are 56.7 seconds back. bowler defender doesn't even appear on the entry list. Nor does Tony Jackson's. But then he was spectator safety, safety delegate, wasn't he? Good to see Tony out enjoying himself, and good to see that, I presume it's That's Motorsport Limited that have given the safety delegate one of the bowlers to play with this weekend. But I like that. I think rewarding the officials that perform these duties week in, week out with something special to drive is quite a cool concept. You can get behind that. If you do fancy becoming an official or volunteering as a marshal, get involved at a time control like my colleague Jamie, who's fresh from his adventure on the World Rally Championship Safari, and he's out here running a time control for the Quinton Motor Club. You head to motorsportuk.org or search your local motor club, because there will be one. There are some really accessible ways into the sport, and you'll find very quickly that there are lots of ways you can get involved that don't cost you very much at all. Certainly if you're going to be volunteering to marshal on local 12 cars and road rallies, which is a fantastic way to start. It's just going to be like one big social for you. And if you haven't yet got involved with the sport other than just casually spectating, I'm almost jealous, because it means you've got it all ahead of you to watch and enjoy. And that's exciting. Remember, your last chance on this stream, and you've got one more with Phil Bramwell to get yourself in that draw to win that fantastic Colin McRae Rally PlayStation themed prize by telling us where you're watching from is now. Don't delay. Vanessa Rook, Chris Cooming, fog lights ablaze on their bowler defender. Do you know what I mean by the fighter jet mode, don't you? Just hear the turbos. Turbos, I'm not sure of the spec. I think there must be one at least. I'm just debating whether or not it's got two. They do look a lot of fun though. Would quite like a go in one of those bowler defender rally cars or rally trucks. Could exercise the inner Dakar in me. I tell you what, they go well in the AWDC as well, wouldn't they? There's Dan Hutchings and Paul Chambers, and they're all locked up and emotional under braking. Last few of these bowler defenders through the stage then, and that will be us. So at the moment, it's all eyes on the top of the leaderboard. Can Matthew Hurst and Declan Deer hang on? More importantly, can they close the gap and take the fight to our reigning champions, or reigning champion Elliot Payne, with Tom Woodburn alongside for the win here at the Nicky Grist to make it 2 on the bounce? Or will Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn strengthen their position going into this summer recess ahead of the final 3 rounds of the season? Either way, that 4-way fight for the Gold Star title between Matthew Hurst and Declan Deer, Elliot Payne, Tom Woodburn, Aaron Newby and Jamie Edwards, and Russ Thompson and Stephen Link looks set to continue into the next round, because all 4 of our championship protagonists are in the top 4 of today's rally in a slightly different order. 5 points separating them coming into this rally. And that is setting up a thrilling second half of this season once we get back underway. I say second half, second part, shall we say. Final part of the season for the last 3 rounds, when the championship regroups in Ludlow for the Woodpecker in September. We will be there to capture all of the action live for you stage side, and we hope you'll be there to join us as well. And I'm looking forward to it. I think this has been we haven't got to the end of this rally, of course. I'll be tuned into Phil Bramwell's live stream of the final stage before the cars make their way back to Bilth Wells. In fact, the first of the cars will be arriving back there as we speak now, so if you do want to get down there and see the top of the field, make it through, now's your time. Christina de Blogue and Dave Hooper enjoying themselves immensely in that bowler defender, and beeping their horn to, I'm sure, show their appreciation for our valued unsung heroes, the Orange Army. I'm pleased to say not that unsung anymore. We do praise them as we should, and they're actually not as unsung. They are just heroes these days. Accused of being Fat Boy Slim now. Did we find out what a turbo trainer was, by the way? Don't know how I got from there. Bright sunshine now to end the day as well, which is a fitting end to what has been a very bizarre day weather-wise here in Wales. Lost my voice with the dust. My hair looks like I've been through a few rainstorms, and I have. And well, we all look a little bit weather-beaten today, don't we? Thank you for joining us today. We will have a short break, quite a long break actually in rally terms now before we're back for the Woodpecker, but of course special stage will be live plenty of times in the meantime. We hope you've enjoyed the action today. We've loved bringing it to you as we always do. For now, from the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship and from the Nicky Grist stages, it's now all eyes on btrdarallyresults.co.uk to watch that final couple of stages play out and the final result come through here. You can also tune into Phil Bramwell. But for now, from us here, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.